Welcome. Got an important lesson video here all about market structure and incorporating stochastic RSI resets, hidden divergence, and regular divergence in with our market structure bias. So I made 3 videos about market structure, tested it in one of them on the 4-hour time frame of Bitcoin. I back tested, showed the data, showing you how great of an edge that just market structure alone can give you for price going one way or another for its next move. I also made a video, 1-hour time frame Bitcoin, testing the same thing, how the market structure can give you a significant edge, and demonstrated that. And I made a video that's about 50 minutes long, just going in, showing you exactly how I go about marking in my market structure. This one, I'm going to be on the 4-hour time frame, but this time it's euro against the US dollar, not Bitcoin. So if you're trading Forex, if you're trading gold, if you're trading indices, whatever it is, market structure is still important. And it's going to apply pretty much the same way. Of course, do your own due diligence and testing, but in this video, we're going to break down the market structure starting from all the way over here. Just go through every bit of market structure, mark it all in, going from left to right to the current price data, and then talking about how it incorporates in with resets on our stochastic RSI, also hidden divergence and regular divergence, how we can use those things to our advantage when we know our market structure. So with market structure, it's really important to have a consistent approach. And the way that I do it is a rules-based rigid approach that can be done consistently every single day. You come into the market and you just know the market structure because you have a consistent rules-based approach. So it's not open to interpretation or everyone's going to be doing it differently. No, if you do it this way, it's a very consistent approach that everyone should have the same market structure marked in if they're using this method. But that doesn't mean some people do it a different way, and that's completely fine. So I saw some comments, people are doing it a little bit of a different way. Maybe some of their market structure was slightly different than the way I was marking it in, but that's fine. You can do it in a way that works well, you've tested out, and you're confident in. That's completely fine. So if you have a method that's consistent, it's rules-based, you can come into the market every day and apply it, know what your market structure is, know the directional bias. There's no reason you should change that to the way I do it. So there's, if you already have that down, there's no point in even watching my market structure videos and how I go about doing the market structure unless you're not happy with the current way that you're doing it and you want to see a way that I go about it and see, just a consistent rules-based approach, or to learn, how you can incorporate some entry triggers using reset position on stochastic RSI or another oscillator, hidden divergence, divergence, whatever it is. Then you can stick around, listen, but there's no reason to change the way you're doing it. If you already have a way of doing your market structure that's very consistent, works in your favor, it has a great edge, there's no reason you need to do it my way, which gives essentially the same results. So if you're already successful with your market structure, just, you don't really need to pay attention to me too much. This is for people who maybe want to improve upon their market structure mastery and add in some additional factors to kind of get that entry trigger, which I also made a video about entry triggers recently as well. So let's just kind of get into things. I do want to give a quick shout out to my affiliate exchanges. So limited time event that Bitfinex offers my users going until the 31st. So there's 6 more days to do this. This exchange is for crypto trading. So if you don't trade crypto, you're not going to be interested in Bitfinex, but they don't offer or don't require any KYC or VPN. So anyone in the world can use this exchange, whether from the US or other countries that have restricted a lot of exchanges. These guys are not going to restrict you. No VPN, no KYC needed. And they have a bonus event. So you deposit and then trade futures once. Depending on the deposit amount, you're going to get a different bonus. So the more you deposit, you can see the tiers here, get bigger bonus for your account, and, read all the rules here to make sure you do it correctly and that you get that bonus up until the 31st. So check these guys out if you're interested. Also, if you want to trade a variety of markets, I have an affiliate, been with these guys for a while, BingX Exchange. You can trade commodities like gold, silver, oil, a bunch of different things here, and then indices, Forex, and also cryptocurrency. So pretty much all the markets that you could want to trade other than stocks, unless you are going to go KYC with these guys, then they do allow stock trading. But BingX Exchange, quite a few markets there, and Bitfinex with the limited time event if you want to get some quick bonuses there to get going. And so that's it for the intro part. just breaking down some basic stuff. And if you don't do market structure this way, then it's fine if you already have a consistent approach that's working well for you. I'm just going to go about doing it how I do it, and I've shown the great edge that this gives you. So let's just start over here. Looks like we had some bullish market structure going up, and we'll just start where there's a break in market structure. So let's find that area. So let's get into the market structure marking. Looks like we were coming up here. We broke out to highs, pull back, and then we actually break again to the upside on this candle. So let's just mark it in, and we're going to start from where we break down. So this was the current structure leading into this breakout here, right? And so we then came up and we broke down. And so the new low to break would be this one right here. This was the low before the breakout, right? So we broke down from that structure. You can see that we temporarily broke over the high here. So we were still in bullish structure all the way until down here when we broke the lows over here on close, this candle. And now we're getting into bearish structure, right? So when we're in bearish structure, what do we want to look for? Well, we want to expect continuation to the downside every time we're in bearish structure. And so what we can do is then look for our next structure pullback. So remember, if you haven't seen my other market structure videos, we're looking for a series of short-term swing lows and swing highs all in one pullback to create a new structure. And so we do that here. So short-term swing low, short-term swing high, short-term swing low, short-term swing high, short-term swing low, short-term swing high, all in one pullback. And what do we also get during this while we're expecting this is going to break down? Well, we also get a full reset here on our stochastic RSI. What do we also get at the same time? We get a hidden bear divergence. See that? So we get a hidden bearish divergence, full reset. So just something to look at and take note of there. We're expecting downside continuation. We get a full reset into overbought with hidden bearish divergence, stochastic RSI, and we continue down. Okay, so successful follow through. We're in bearish structure. We're expecting follow through to the downside. Now, where do we get into our next pullback? Well, it's right here. We break down. We start getting into a new pullback there. And this one here is just a little guy, little pullback, but that's our new structure. We have short-term swing low, short-term swing high, short-term swing high. And then we break down. We have a multiple candle pullback here. And so that's our new bearish structure there. So we're just expecting that this level is going to hold on close on the 4-hour. So then when we break down right here out of that structure, we then look to this pullback here. So we get started on a pullback right here. So we get going on a pullback here, short-term swing low, short-term swing high, short-term swing low. We don't break down on close there, so we're still in the same pullback. And we have a series of short-term swing lows and short-term swing highs, and we're just expecting it's going to make a lower high compared to this structure high here. What do we also get? We get that full reset again with our stochastic RSI here in the context of our bear structure. Well, that's a good sign that we're going to be continuing that bear structure. And what do we do? Well, we do eventually come down and break it on this candle here. So let's extrapolate that out. So we break down there. Now this is our new bear structure right here to hold, expecting that we're again going to get into a lower high, lower low scenario here. Not going to break over this high. And what do we have? Well, we get a hidden bearish divergence here with a full reset on our stochastic RSI during this next pullback. Okay, so where do we get into that pullback? Well, we get our first series right here, right? And so this is the high of that new structure. Short-term swing low, short-term swing high, short-term swing low, short-term swing low, short-term swing high. So we get a series there, valid structure on this 4-hour here. We get that reset, we get the hidden bear, and then we do get that follow-through move. We actually close below that level, and then we pull back again. Okay, right? So we get back into that bearish territory on the stochastic RSI, the reset into the overbought in the context of our bear structure, right? And so this is our new pullback low right here. And then we come up, we get another overbought territory here with another hidden bear. So this is another hidden bearish divergence on our stochastic RSI. So we're just, again, we're just expecting that this is going to continue down. So we keep just expecting there's going to get crushed to the downside, continue our bear structure down. And we get that follow through here. But what shifts? So we do have a change. We're going to break structure soon. We can't be right every time, right? So we come down, we get that next follow through move, and that's our new high to hold right here, right? So we break down on close this candle here, and then we wait. We're getting into another pullback where we have a few short-term swing lows, short-term swing highs all in one pullback. So we start here. We start another pullback here, and we're actually expecting that this is also going to be a breakdown. But what happens is when we come up into that overbought, so where we might be considering that we want to look for a follow through down, we're already breaking structure to the upside. Okay, so we close that candle over the high right here. This candle closes over our current bear structure high. So we're actually shifting now. This is now bullish structure. And we didn't even have a signal to then look to get short. There was no hidden bear. There was no reset yet with a sign of weakness. And so this put us into bull structure. We're now expecting that we're going to continue to the upside. So let's just get rid of some of these drawings, clean it up. What's our current structure now? And you've already seen the edge that this gave you throughout that whole range. Now, let's take a look. What's our new structure? So that was where our pullback began. Then we broke this high right there on that close. So we're waiting for another pullback. So we get into a pullback here. There's our high. And we're in bull structure now. So we're just expecting this pullback here is going to hold a higher low compared to here on close. So it could wick it and we still are in bullish structure. Okay, and that will sometimes happen where you wick it and then continue higher. And that's fine. Just don't want to close below this level. Normally we don't wick it, but sometimes you will see it wicked. It's just, the nature of the market. Sometimes it's going to do that. So what do we get on this one? We're expecting that this is going to go higher. We're going to get a follow through to the upside. Some things I notice. So what do we get? Hidden bull. That's a hidden bullish divergence right there. Reset stochastic RSI. So that's already a trigger right there, because we've pulled back, majority of the pullback. This is at least to the 0.618 Fibonacci level if we're going to add in that factor. But we also get that hidden bullish, and then we actually end up getting a regular bullish right there. So another great factor here. We have a regular and a hidden bull, expecting that we're going to go up because our bullish market structure is currently present. And so what do we get? Well, eventually we keep going higher. We break that high, which puts us into new bull structure. We have a confirmed follow through for this one. And so that's good. Now, what was the low of this current structure? We're going to update it because we broke to the high. So that's our new low to hold. And then we break the high. We're looking for any pullbacks to then follow through to the upside. So where do we start our pullback after breaking the high? Right there. Short-term swing high. Short-term swing high, short-term swing low, short-term swing low, short-term swing high, short-term swing low. So this is all part of that one next pullback that we're just looking to follow through to the upside and hold higher compared to this low down here. And so we then can kind of put this out over here where our pullback began. We can get rid of this high because this is our new relevant structure to hold a higher low. And so we do reset here on our stochastic RSI. We do get a reset. Do we have a hidden bull? Kinda. It's not as clear, but we do technically have it right there. Higher low on price. Last time we were in oversold, but we're making a much higher low on the price. So we get that follow through. Success again. So another success there. We have a new structure because when we create a new structure, it has to be a series of short-term swing highs and short-term swing lows all in one pullback. Okay. So we get right there, short-term swing high, short-term swing high, short-term swing low, short-term swing low, short-term swing high, short-term swing low. Then we get the breakout candle right there. Okay, so now what are we expecting? Well, again, we're in bullish structure still. So once again, we're going to be looking for our next pullback to begin. So right there, we get a short-term swing high. We expect, okay, maybe that's going to be the one that puts us into a more complex pullback with a multiple series of swing lows and swing highs, which that's what it does. So what do we get? We get some short-term swing lows. We have short-term swing high here. That's our new structure. We break it to the upside. We're expecting that this pullback is just going to hold a higher low compared to that previous low structure. And it does. Not saying that there's any setup to be taken there. It doesn't come back that far. We don't really get any setup here with stochastic RSI, but nonetheless, we're expecting it's going to go higher, and it does. Now, here's our new structure, right? So we break out again. We're expecting that's going to happen. Get into a pullback, right? We're expecting this pullback going to be higher than this one right here. And we get a hidden bull. We don't get any reset, but we do get a hidden bull. So, you potentially could expect that that's going to go higher. And this is, keeping it super simple. We're not even considering untapped highs or other indicators, trending indicators. We're just looking at hidden divergence on our stochastic RSI, one indicator. We're looking at resets, and we're looking at regular divergence with market structure. That's it. So we're not looking at a bunch of metrics or other things. And already this gives a significant edge, as you can see so far. And we're going to keep going through. So I'm just going to keep going. It might be a long video, but I think it'll be really helpful for the people who really want to learn to, just listen in and watch through this, see how I go about, what's my thought process as the markets are moving. So, we get that hidden bull right there. We get the follow through as we're expecting. We can update our low now. So why can we update it? Well, it's because we got the new structure with a follow through. New structure, as I've been saying, multiple short-term swing high, short-term swing low, short-term swing low here, and we get the breakout. So at least a few, we don't want to see just one candle or two candles. We're going to get at least a few short-term swing highs or short-term swing lows in one pullback. So at a minimum, we have a short-term swing high, short-term swing low, short-term swing low, and multiple candles throughout there. We don't want to just have one candle or two candles. Not going to be a valid pullback. Okay, so this is the minimum for a valid structure. And so just like this one, it's a minimum for a valid structure there. And so we do continue higher with our hidden bull div, and we get that follow through move. Well, what are we going to do? Well, we're just going to be, again, expecting a follow through to the upside once we get going into a pullback. So what do we have here? We have our first short-term swing high. So maybe that's where we're beginning our pullback. And ends up, that is the beginning of our pullback. We get short-term swing high, short-term swing low, short-term swing high. We don't break it on close, just wicks. So still in the same pullback that we've been in here. And the whole time we're just expecting higher low compared to this last structure low here, okay? Right? So that's now, it's a wider range because we got this kind of big igniting candle here. And so we pull back a bit. And what do we do during that time? Well, we put in a hidden bullish divergence, reset, stochastic RSI, right? So potential down here. But what do we also get? What did I talk about in one of my more recent videos talking about entry triggers? Well, swing failure. Look at this swing failure pattern right here. We swing the lows, we reclaim it, while we have these other factors here: reset, hidden bullish divergence, bullish structure, swing failure pattern on the 4-hour here. So we have some good factors to then, anticipate that next move to the upside. Doesn't mean you have to take an entry there. Maybe it didn't pull back deep enough for you, but just giving you some ideas. And so what do we get? We get the follow through here on this candle. Big green candle breaks us out above the high that began that pullback, right? So now we're updating. Here's our new low that if it's broken, we break structure. We're just expecting it's going to hold though, like we've been doing all throughout here. And so this time when we break up, we get started on our pullback, right? And we'd be looking on this pullback. Okay, do we have any sort of entry trigger? We're looking for that divergence. We're looking for a reset. We're looking for a swing failure pattern, which I covered more in one of my more recent videos about entry triggers. And then we break down. So, maybe you took an entry here. You got a bit, excited, took that entry after we had all these, string of winners in a row. And that's fine. That would be valid. But then when we break down here, we know something has changed. Okay, so we break structure here. So we're just going to say that that was a loss. If you took this, this, to me, this doesn't look like a great entry trigger, any entry triggers for me here. But maybe you did, and that would be fine. Maybe you saw in the hourly time frame there was a bullish divergence or something. Multi-time frame analysis also allowed and recommended. So let's say you got an entry here, it's a loss. We break structure down. So we have to update things. We're no longer in bullish structure. So where did our pullback begin here? This one right here, that's the high before the breakdown, right? And then we're just looking for a pullback to begin after we broke down. So we start a pullback here. So here's the start of our pullback right down here. right? But we're now in bearish structure. We're going to be expecting this goes down for the next move. So what do we get? We get a pullback now in bear structure and reset. So we got the reset here on our stochastic. This is a nice smooth look. Cross down. We start heading down. We're in bear structure, and this is a nice pullback. This is deep pullback into this midpoint, at least maybe the 0.618, 786 Fibonacci. You can put that in there as well. Look at some other factors, but main thing we're focusing on here is just these resets, hidden divergence, regular divergence, and the structure itself. So what do we get? Where you get the reset, we get the follow through down, and so great, we followed through, and look, we just broke down here. So we can update things. So there's our new structure. Let's update this. Success, follow through, broke down on close, and we can get rid of whatever happened in here. Doesn't really matter anymore. We know our bear structure here. And so what do we have now? Well, we get another reset here on our stochastic RSI and our bear structure. And this is, a pretty sufficient pullback here. Maybe you have, this right here is a swing failure. See how it pushes up, takes out the high right here, but then closes all the way back down while we're in the reset position here. And then we get, after that, shortly later, we get on this candle, cross down after that swing failure. So maybe that's your trigger, and then you look for that move to the downside. Well, we do actually end up taking out the low. So we do take out the low. So you're at least going to have a partial profit or break even on this guy, even though we don't break down and close below the level. So we're still in bearish structure, even though, we pull back here, but you'll probably get stopped out at break even, take a partial profit once we get the lows here. But that's fine. That's just the nature of it. And what do? We actually are going to get back into bullish structure. So right here, since we never broke down for a new low, we're keeping our current structure high here. Okay. So we end up breaking all the way back. And this is going to be our new low here. Break over the high from the bear structure over here. So let's just get rid of everything. We can kind of draw back in. This was the high to break. And this is our low before we break it. Lowest point before we broke that. All right. So we get a hidden bull. Pull back a little bit right here. This does not create a new structure, but we do get a hidden bull. So there's that potential for a long entry. Maybe if you look at an hourly time frame, something else. I don't know that this would be an entry. It's a pretty shallow pullback in the context of this whole thing. But that's going to happen sometimes. We've had tons of great ones all throughout here. And I'm sure, look at this, lots of great opportunities throughout all of this here. But we're going up now. We're expecting that this is going to go higher. Doesn't mean that you traded it. I'm just saying, you're going to be just having that bias that things are going to go up. And so we keep going up. And we actually don't create any new structure. So we don't have any multiple swing high, swing low scenarios here as we go up until all the way up here. Okay, so let's take a look. We get into one of our actual valid pullbacks because short-term swing high, short-term swing low, short-term swing high, short-term swing low, short-term swing high, short-term swing low, all in one consecutive pullback without breaking that high that started the pullback. And so what do we get? Full reset during this time. Hidden bullish divergence. See this? Full reset, hidden bullish divergence. Not saying that you traded this, but we do get a pop up there with that setup, with the full reset, and so on. So there's our new structure, right? So new structure, bullish structure. We got the follow through. We were expecting that we'd be going up from down here, and we did go up. So when we get that break to the upside, again, what are we going to notice here? Well, we have a interesting scenario. We never actually make any progress here. We're pushing up, but we still have this is a bearish divergence, regular bearish divergence. So on this push down here, we never really get a reset. It doesn't actually come up and then reset. So there's just no real setup on this to take along. And that's a good thing because we end up breaking structure to the downside. And let's talk about where that happens, right? So this is the low to hold right here, bullish structure. So let's see, where do we break it? Right there, this candle here, break it on close. And then at that point, we're expecting downside. So high before the breakdown, new bear structure to hold, right? expecting that this pullback here, this right here, after the breakdown, it's going to be a follow through to the downside, right? So we get that. And we don't have any real reset here. This is just staying in the oversold this whole entire time. So it's really bearish. Momentum is really strongly pushing to the downside based on our indicator. And so do we have a setup there? I don't know. Maybe you could look at the hourly time frame, something else. Maybe not. Let's. It doesn't really matter. It's not really the point of this video. But structure continues, right? Bear structure break. Expecting this is going to go lower. It does. So let's put in our new structure once we get a more complex pullback, right? Right here is that time where we get that complex pullback. And so let's put it in. Expecting bearish continuation. So let's update our structure. This is our new structure. We get the follow through to the downside. Again, there's no real setup to talk about with stochastic, but we're just expecting that this is going to break down, which it does, right? And let's take a look. No valid pullback. Do we have a valid pullback here? No. This is our next valid pullback. So structure. This one begins our pullback. That gets into multiple short-term swing highs and lows all in one consecutive pullback. And we're just expecting we're not going to close over this level. We're going to, not break above this high. So this is one of those scenarios where we do wick it. So I said at the beginning of the video, we'll probably see one where we wick it. It doesn't happen too often, but if we wick it, it doesn't matter. That's actually the best possible entry. We get a swing failure there. Big swing failure with the full reset. So full reset, stochastic RSI. Plenty of hidden bearish divergence. Take a look at this. All of these highs over here, all hidden bearish divergence there, leading up into this one with the big swing failure. So maybe you entered on the hourly, a bit of a better price, or as we see that push down, become a swing failure, you go one ATR above this high with this full reset there, expecting that our bear structure is going to continue until we break it. So it'll have to close over that level. So, we expect that's going to break down, and it does. And then we have a new structure, okay? So here's our high that has to hold. So that's our new structure right there from that pullback where we have the multiple short-term swing highs and lows all in one consecutive pullback. And here's our new pullback right here. Remember, short-term swing lows and highs, consecutive, starting right here. So this pullback we're expecting is going to go down, and it does. So we end up continuing down from this pullback. Not saying you got an entry. That's not really the point, but to expect this is going to continue, that's the goal here. We actually have some hidden bearish right here within the pullback, and then we follow through. So that's great. Let's keep going. That's our high before it breaks down. We get the follow through that we're looking for. Then we wait for our next pullback, right? So we get into a pullback. We start there, right here. Get into a pullback, and we're just expecting a lower high compared to here on close. So what do? Notice we never actually break it. We wick it, another swing failure, bearish candle, cross down in the overbought. Get an overbought here as well with hidden bearish. And so an entry up here, an entry over here. It's all good for looking for that continuation move to the downside, and then going an ATR or so above the high of this. If you're all the way up here, entered all the way up here, you have a great risk to reward ratio looking for that. So let's say that we entered on this one because we saw that reset, and then we want it. Let's just say even that you got it weighted all the way till down here to get in, something like that. So we're looking for a full trend continuation move to the downside, and you would have been safe all the way with a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio, just looking for a continuation down. So we're looking for this trend to continue all the way to the downside. So even if you went for a just marginal lower low as your profit target, you could still have a 1 to 2 here. But I'm not saying you're only going to have a 1 to 2, and also not saying that you didn't get stopped out right here. I'm just saying this was a decent setup. This was, nothing wrong with this. Or maybe you entered on this swing failure. Like let's say you saw this happen, and then we're pushing down on this in the overbought, crossing down, and then you just went straight here. Just said, okay, I don't want to see that return back up there. And then you looked for that continuation move to the downside, which we get plenty of continuation to the downside. Look at this. So did plenty well on this setup. You can always re-enter as well. I re-enter all the time. If I get stopped out, but my setup is still there, or it's even better, I might just re-enter into the same idea with a better price. So I'm not too worried about getting stopped and then re-entering if the setup is still good. But anyway, let's kind of getting off topic. Let's get back into our structure, right? So we break down. And where do we break down? Right on this candle. Where do we start our pullback? Right here. So this looking for continuation down. So our pullback begins here. Here's our high that we're expecting. So up until this point right here, this pullback. So we come up, we don't get a full reset on our stochastic RSI. It's fine. Maybe we don't get an entry here. We break down. Okay, so this candle, new structure. So we're just expecting this pullback now. It's going to be a lower high compared to this one. And hopefully you guys can see by now how much of an edge this gives you. Look how many times it continues. And we're going through, this is not ideal trading conditions. We're up and down, up and down, up and down, switching from uptrends and downtrends. And we're still having a significant edge. So, it doesn't need to be a up only scenario for market structure to work. We can have up and down, and then we take that, maybe we even take a loss or two when the tides turn, which is totally fine. You're going to take losses. You might even take losses when market structure still works in your favor. So for instance, when something like this happens, so we were expecting this to go down, and it does. It breaks down, right? And then so we have a new pullback here. New again, so it keeps working. We keep winning, keeps working. We come up, right? We reset. Looks like we get, is that a bear divergence? So, well, we get at least a reset, a hidden bearish divergence. Hidden bear, full reset, major swing failure right here. Look at that swing failure, 4-hour time frame. That's a bearish candle. Taking out the highs here, coming back down. It not only took out this candle's high, but also the ones over here. Sweep some highs, break down, we cross down, and take off to the downside. So maybe you did take a loss there, or maybe you just took that trade once we got that swing failure, whatever, it doesn't matter. Either way, we were expecting that it would continue breaking down until we break the highs of our structure. And so we have a new structure now. This breaks down again here, this candle. And then we're looking for our next pullback, which starts right here. So in this pullback, we don't even get a reset. But either way, we're just expecting that's going to hold a lower high compared to here and then continue down, which it does. So we have a new structure, right? Okay, new structure here. Get into a pullback there. Right? Go down again as expected. We're in bearish structure. We're just expecting it's going to go down, and we break down. So new low to start a pullback right there. And this time we're expecting that it's going to then continue down lower. What does it do? It doesn't. So it fails, okay? Which is fine. So we just break to the upside, shifting into bullish structure. So when that happens, we're just looking to then expect that once this happens, so it happens on this candle right here. This green candle breaks it, breaks the high on close, and then we're just expecting that we're then going to hold a higher low compared to over here. Okay. Break it, expecting that we're going to put in a higher low and a higher high. So we do get a little push up right here. Don't create any new structure though. And then we pull back. So this whole time, I'd be expecting that we're going to go to the upside again, but we don't, which is fine. You're just going to take losses sometimes. Even if, maybe you didn't get an entry trigger, but I'd probably have an entry on that. I mean, if I was only looking at this, obviously if I was on the daily, and I would be considering daily structure and where our 200 EMA is and things along those lines. But just for the sake of only paying attention to this indicator and our market structure, that would be a valid long, this pullback, which would be a loss. So that's fine. We've already had, proven how often this works, which is far more times than not. Okay, so we need to update things again. So we're wrong. Breaks down. So what's the high before the breakdown? It's all the way up here. Breakdown on this one. Get into a pullback right here. We might see some losses coming up. Let's see. So this gets into a bit of a pullback right here. That's our structure. We do get a follow through down. There's, maybe there's a hidden bear right there, but we don't get any reset. This is a pretty shallow pullback considering this whole move down. Probably wouldn't trade that. Probably be waiting for a new setup. I don't think I'd be looking to short this after that big push down. But either way, we can update this because we get a new structure pullback and then a follow through down. So that's fine. Get some continuation as we'd be anticipating. Doesn't mean we'd trade it, but there's no, there wasn't really any proper setup there. So then what do? We get into a new pullback starting here. After breaking down, we're expecting that, it's going to put in a lower high compared to here, which it does not. So we break it on this one. Get into a pullback. Get a higher low here. And we push up a little, but fail. Okay, so we get into a bullish structure. We attempt to go for a follow through. And we fail. There's really no trade setups in here. We're not getting any resets on our indicators, just kind of chopping up at the top range, right? We never get any proper resets here. This is not going from overbought to oversold to overbought to oversold. So that would be a reset, is when you go from one side of extreme to the other side of the extreme, to the other side of extreme, to the other side of extreme. Notice how extreme, extreme, extreme all on one side. We never reset to the bottom portion at any point during that. So to say that you'd have any entries within any of this is kind of just, it's not going to happen. Not really going to have any entries during this time. This would just really be a no trade zone, to be honest, at this point. So let's get our structure straightened out. So we were going bull structure, bear structure, get back into bear structure here. We break down. This is the high. So now bear structure. Now we're back in action. Okay, so what do we get? Stochastic RSI. Now it's a full reset. We come all the way down and all the way up. Cool. Now we can look for entry criteria that can be met here. What do we get? A bearish divergence here. Maybe not on the stochastic K, but definitely on stochastic D. So there, orange line. Lower high cross down. Overbought. This was a swing failure. That could be an entry. This one. All right. And we're expecting we're going to hold lower than this high. Oops. Right? Continuing. So there it is. We get the follow through and we're off again. So great. We got that one. Expecting that we are going to, let's see if we get a close below. Looks like we do. Yep. Okay. So we're in new structure. Putting in a new pullback here. This is candle. Closes down below it. So this pullback right here builds us a new structure. We can put that in. So this was the high we're expecting to hold on this pullback here. Don't get any full reset, which is fine, but we do have new structure, so let's update it. So that's our current structure, bearish. We already got that nice one right here, nice setup, and we're expecting that's going to go down, which it does. Follow through to the downside, great. And so let's look. Break down. Looks like we get a little bit of a pullback here, which we can put a new structure in for. Do we have any setups here? Nope. It's not really tradable. I don't think I'd be trading this. Who knows with other time frames, but don't think so. So yeah, we're expecting this continues down. It does. Go down. we don't get any complex pullback throughout this until right here. And what we're expecting is that this pullback is going to follow through to the downside. So what does it do? Oops. Just clean this up a little. Looks like we might have closed over that high. So we start our pullback down here. We're expecting it's going to keep going down. This pullback right here, we get the full reset, hidden bearish divergence. Doesn't, let's take a look closely. Looks like it might have closed over. Yeah, it did. So this actually did close over this high. But we got a nasty failure here with the overbought. So you could have then looked for this reset, which we get down here, but we've already broken back down below the lows. So there's just no trades here, really, unless you were already in a short from here. And then you probably would have been all right. So let's say we look for this, we look for our momentum to start ticking down. That would be right here on this candle. So let's just say you got this one and you said, okay, I'm going to go 1 ATR over the highs, something like that. You know, you can still have a good trade there. It did close over, so we would assume a bullish setup. So we're going to just stick to that, right? So we get into a pullback. We're now bullish structure, expecting it's going to hold a higher low to here. Get that reset. Where do we start ticking up? There, but we've already shifted into bearish structure again, okay? So we're kind of ranging a bit. So we're just looking for a lower high compared to here now. Where do we start our pullback? Right there. And we break bullish again, okay? So again, there was no setup here. There was no setup here because by the time we had any trigger for an entry, we had already shifted structure one way or another. So then we just, you know, flip to the other side, look for a setup. Don't have any, don't have any. Okay, well, now we're back into our bearish structure. Well, we break here. And this time we did get a setup. So this would be a loss. So if you're going to be shorting this anywhere up in this range where we get that reset and bearish divergence, you know, that's fair. Expecting that would go down. Doesn't happen. It's just, you know, what the nature of trading is. You're going to take losses all the time. So it doesn't matter. We go bullish, flip bullish there. Let's take to our low. This is the structure. This is where our pullback is getting going. So this pullback here, we're now expecting this one is going to go higher. And this time it works out really nicely. We get a great setup. So look at this, bullish divergence, hidden bullish divergence. So see this reset, a regular bullish divergence right here at the lows. Here. And we follow through to the upside. As anticipated, based on our structure, just expecting it's going to go. And you're going to take some losses. You know, maybe, well, first of all, we went over those setups. Maybe you took an entry there against what, you know, the strategy was. But strategy-wise, looking at these, there was no actual entry on this one or this one. So maybe you took the loss right here. I saw one loss that I would have taken a loss on out of those where the structure was kind of flip-flopping. This one, shorting it, would have been a loss for me. These two, don't know that I would have had any position at all on those ones, but at least one loss there, which is fine. You know, that's just going to happen. This one, good setup. This is a good buy setup, okay? So expecting it's going to go higher, which it does. And now that it broke to the highs here of our structure, we have new structure. Okay, so let's update it. This is the high of our new pullback. This is the low that we're now expecting to hold. Get a really nice pullback here. Full reset. Hidden bullish divergence. This is a good deep pullback. For me, that's a good risk to reward ratio. So let's say we went down. Look at this. We start getting swing failures. Bullish candle, right? Crossed up right here. That's a nice candle. Let's say that we enter. Based on that, go a little bit below the low here just in case it wicks it. Expecting a follow through. Decent risk to reward ratio of at least 1 to 1. But we can do better. 1 to 2, 1 to 2.5, 1 to 3. But at least 1 to 1 because we're going to only win about, you know, just 60% of the time, 55% of the time. as long as your risk to reward ratio is positive, it's going to work out over a series of many trades, or at least I can't really guarantee anything, but let's just say that maybe you can be profitable. Don't want to claim anything. But of course, this is all for paper trading advice anyway, so it doesn't matter. We're just playing a game of paper trading, of course. Anyway, just protecting myself there legally. All right, so we break out. Great setup there. Nice deep pullback. I love to see the deep pullback. Well, we have a new structure now because we broke out. Success again. So, we had that success. Beautiful deep pullback, follow through. Beautiful deep pullback, follow through, success. And now this pullback. What do we have? Ah, yes. Bullish divergence, full reset, and hidden bullish divergence. Look at this. Hidden bull, first sign, regular bull, full reset, and, well, what do we get on these pushes down over here? This one doesn't look so great. This doesn't look very good over here, but this does. This looks pretty good. Look at this one. So this candle, particularly this one right here, screen one, notice how it sweeps 1, 2 lows. Actually, if you count these candles, 1 low, 2 low, 3 lows, 4 lows, sweeps 4 candle lows and then reclaims it, and then we cross back up over here. So if not an entry here from that bullish divergence, at swing failure, reset, crossed up, looks good. This is a decent setup. Not the deepest pullback. I would still very likely take this setup, okay? Just what I would do based on the look of this right here. And so we go up. This is a nice new structure that has formed here. So where do we get going on that? Looks like it starts here. So here's our high that needs to break. We're expecting it will. It does. Plenty of entry triggers here. Let's update our low. So this is the new structure. Get rid of that. All right. So we break out to the upside. Now we have a new structure low to hold. Here's our new pullback. Here. Starts right here. And what happens on this one? Full reset. Hidden bullish divergence. Don't know that I would take this. Maybe I would add to my position. By the way, adding to your position is a whole nother story, which is also important to learn. But anyway, hidden bull, reset, full reset, goes overbought, back to oversold with a higher low to full reset in the bullish market structure. So follow through to the upside. Success. Right, let's put in our new structure now. Right there. And we follow through. Great. So where's our next pullback? Looks like it happens here. Pull back. Expecting a higher low right here compared to this one. Full reset. Higher low with the full reset. Right? And we continue higher. So we expect it's going to go higher. It does. Now we get into a pullback. What are we expecting on this one? That it's going to go higher. What happens? It doesn't. So, we're going to fail some. It's going to fail. Markets can't keep going up forever. So we fail here. Could be a loss. That's, can take a swing at this. Swing failure there with the reset and the bullish divergence. It doesn't work out. That's just how it goes. You're not going to win all the time. Never know what's going to happen. So what's our new high? Here's our new high. Break it down on, let's see, this red candle here, break it down, get a bit of a pullback here. So we got a bit of a new structure. Let's put it in. We're just expecting we're going to keep going lower at this point. Okay, there it is. All right, there's our new structure, which we are expecting is going to break down. It does right here on this candle. Get into a new one. Get a bit choppy in this area, but we're about to be on the upswing as we see. Let's do the market structure. We're not getting any full resets here. So it's really a no trade zone is what I'm looking at right here. There's no trades. No trades to be taken here based on this system. So we're just doing nothing. We can keep updating the structure without actually trading. We don't need to do anything. Look at this. There's nothing here. There's no resets, nothing clear. And so we're just going to be looking, just waiting for a more clear setup. So we break down again. Just do our new structure. Go down again, go up. And we get a full reset. It's the lower high. But this was a bull structure break. What do we get? Comes down. No full reset for a bullish setup. So there's just nothing here. There's no trades at all. So we go bullish, we go bearish, structure keeps shifting. You know, we're just kind of chopping around here at the bottom. But there's no setups to be taken, okay? Which is a good thing because we're just going up and down. Sure, maybe you looked at this and you're like, okay, maybe since we got the full reset, lower high on price for the full reset, maybe I want to go have a go at one more move down. And, you know, that would have been fine. It worked. But we did shift into bullish structure there. So we can update it. Back into bear structure. Back into bull structure on this candle. There's no trade setups whatsoever. Maybe here. Could have taken a loss here if you tried shorting it, for sure. But anyway. Let's take a look. Where do we start a pullback? Expecting higher because we're in bullish structure now. So this is quite a range. But what do we get? Hidden bullish divergence there. Hidden bullish divergence there. Full reset. And we're expecting with our bullish structure, which is this right here. See how easy and consistent it is to do your market structure like this? We're just expecting this is going to go higher, which it does. So, can update. How much more do I have here? Been going for a while. Oh, good Lord. Well, we'll just keep going. Hopefully people can keep watching if they're interested. I don't think anyone watches this far into the video, but those who do, hopefully you're learning just how well this works over a series of many trades. And, you know, got to know when you're going to, you know, how often you're going to be wrong, how often you're going to, you know, maybe the structure doesn't work, but there was no entry setup, which often when there's losing setups, you actually never even get a trigger for entry. Maybe you get one where you take a loss, but most of the time you're not going to have that big of a string of losses trading like this. All right, follow through. What do we have? Pull back, swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low. Okay, got a bit of a new setup here. This was a good one for potential for an entry. There was potential there for an entry. Still in bull structure. We're just expecting we're going to go higher. It's really, I don't see any potential on this for entry, but we're just expecting we're going to go higher. And when you don't have, you know, like a super clear setup on this time frame, you can always go to a lower time frame for one of these smaller pullbacks. And also what you can do is if you had an entry here and then price goes up here, goes into bullish structure, like this little pullback, we don't have a real solid setup right here, but you're still expecting, based on whatever factors you're looking at, based on, you know, this 4-hour market structure even, expecting we're going to go higher, you can always try to get an entry on a lower time frame on a reset down here for an add-on. So you could add on to a position from down here, or if you run along from down here, add to a position here, add to a position here, whatever it is. You can always add to your position if you have an idea from a higher time frame maybe, or you're targeting a certain high over here, or something, whatever that may be. You might be looking at something different on a different time frame that gives you an idea that we're going to go much higher, and so you're trying to add to a position that's going to keep going higher for that a higher time frame setup. So anyway, structure goes higher, breaks up. We don't actually get into a pullback till all the way up here. This maintains our low to break for shift and bear structure, which it does, and super clean setup right here. So what do? We break down, bear structure, this pullback right here, starting right here. So we're expecting this is going to go down. So we get some bearish divergence or lower high cross down here, here. Quite a few swing failures in here. Retest where we broke down the structure here. And we follow through down, which is what we expect. This is a nice consolidation here. So nice consolidation. This is just a, classic bear flag pattern right here. Break the structure, resets into the overbought, expecting we're going to break down, and we do. So new structure to be formed. High before the breakdown right there. Looking for our next pullback to begin. Let's see, where do we get going on it? Looks like about there. We get into some choppiness here. So here's our pullback. Follow through, break it right there. New high. So we're getting a bit intricate, but we're still in bear structure. Breakdown right here. Come back up. We never break the highs, and we continue again. So this was the low that started the next bear structure pullback. We break down again. So we're all good still no closes. New high here. Breaks down. This pullback does shift us. So this one goes bull. So then we're going to be going like this. We're now in bullish structure. Get rid of these drawings. Not saying you have any trade setups here, but that's the structure. All right, so we're in bullish structure. This pullback right here. Get a swing failure off the bottom here with the full reset. Potential there. But, it does end up coming down. Okay. So it is what it is. We shift back into bear structure right there. And so this is good. Now we're bear structure again, which is what we were hoping for, because look, we're moving down here. If we zoom out a bit, we're trending down. Structure wise, we're back in bear right here. So this pullback, expecting we're going to break down. Okay. So where do we start our pullback? It's right down here. Expecting that this here is going to break down. So, maybe this is a short right here, big swing failure. Maybe this is a short, nice clear reset on stochastic RSI with a deep enough pullback to at least the 0.5, 618 level of between the low and this high of structure, right? So we break down, can put in our new high. Get into our pullback starting right there, here. Expecting that this pullback is going to break down. What do we get? Well, get some swing failures up and down in this area, especially right here. Nice bearish swing failure there, but we've also fully reset stochastic RSI. And we go down for another go at the lows, which we break down so we can update. Okay, bear structure. Now what are we looking at? We don't get any complex pullback until starting right here. This one. And so this one here fails, as we can see. Ends up breaking above that high. Potential there for a setup, for a short. Here, here. But ends up going higher. Be either a break even or a loss, depending how you handled this. From there, let's see, we go pull back. Expecting this pullback here. It's going to go higher. Oops. Which it does. Start another pullback after breaking out of that. So we can update our high. This low still stays the same. We're just expecting this level to hold. Right? This is good. Nice. Deep pullback. Best risk to reward ratios happen like this. Or even the sweeps. But best risk to reward ratios down here. Nice deep pullback in the context. Super tight stop there. Just a little bit low. One ATR below our low. Nice entry opportunities here. Look at that regular bullish divergence. Hit full resets. Yeah. And we're expecting we're going to go higher, which we do. Let's update our low. Break out. Start a little pullback here. Does not create a new structure. So we're not updating quite yet. And we don't update it until all the way up here where we get into a more complex pullback. But this is going to still be our low, right? So this is our structure right now, bullish. So maybe we take an entry on a bull divergence here, here, or on this reset. We get nice bounces, which is great. So even if you entered on this one, which was not even halfway down, not even a 0.5, but more likely on this one here, even if you entered this one, nice bounce. Short term, lower time frame break structure right here, bullishly. So definitely a break even on that one, definitely a break even on this one. And then if you're going to re-enter, which is fine, yeah, probably a break even on that one too. So not too painful on this one when we shift into bear structure, which happens right here. And then since we shift into bear structure, this is our new high to hold bearishly. It's the highest point before the breakdown. And what do we get? Looks like we get a little pullback with a new structure here. There's a high.